Alright, so this video we're going to look at a word problem involving exponential functions. So we want to solve this, and it says in 2000 the population of the Palestinians in the West Bank Gaza Strip and East Jerusalem was approximately 3.2 million, and by 2050 it is projected to grow to 12 million. Use the exponential model f of t equals y naught times b to the t, in which t is the number of years after 2000, to find the exponential growth function that models the data. And then they want us to estimate the population in the year 2060. Alright, so what it's telling us in the year 2000, the population was approximately 3.2 million. And in the year 2050, the population is projected to be 12 million. Okay, so we have to come up with a function f of t equals y naught b to the t. Alright, now what we've got to do is we've got to find values for y naught and b, and the only variable we will have is t. Alright, so what we're going to do is the year 2000, okay, in the year 2000, t is equal to 0. That's the initial year, okay? That's at time t equals 0, year 2000. And so if that's 2000, then the year t equal 2050, t would be what? 50, because it's 50 years later. Okay, 2000 is when t is 0, 2050 t equals 50. It's kind of like, say, the year 2001. Well, that's 1 year after the initial year, so t would be 1. Okay, all right, so what we have here is, let me erase this and get it out of the way. I'll rewrite it over here. F of t is y naught b to the t. Alright, so what this is saying here is that if we take 0, plug it into this function here, okay, so in other words, f of 0, okay, and we plug 0 in for t, okay, we should get 3.2 as an answer. And this is saying that if we plug 50 in for t, we should get 12 as an answer. And I know it's million, but we're going to leave it as 3.2 and 12. Okay, we just know this is in millions. All right, so let's look at this. So f of 0, okay, this is going to allow us to find y naught. So that's going to be y naught times b to the 0, and that should, what does f of 0 equal? It equals 3.2. So we know that anything raised to the 0 power is 1. Okay, you see this little equation here we have to solve? Alright, so we've got y naught times 1, because b to the 0, that just goes to 1, and 1 times y naught is y naught, and that equals 3.2. So there's y naught, or y sub 0, however you want to say it. Okay, now we can take this and plug it in for y naught. Alright, so we got y naught equals 3.2. Okay, so we can take the 3.2 and we can plug it in here for y naught. So that is going to give us f of t is equal to 3.2 times b to the t. Well, now we got to figure out what b is. Well, we can use the fact that we know f of 50 is equal to 12. Okay, so if I plug 50 in for t, okay, that's f of 50 is equal to 3.2 times b to the 50. I plug the 50 in for t. Alright, so what does f of 50 equal? Well, f of 50 is equal to 12. Okay, and I have this equation here that I can solve. So let me just write it down again. Now let's solve for b. Well, first thing I'm going to do is divide both sides by 3.2, and so that's going to give me b to the 50 is equal to 12 over 3.2. Alright, so how do I find b to the 50th? Or how do I solve b when I have b to the 50th? Well, if you have b squared equals, say, 4, b equals what? The square root of 4, right? Which is 2. If I have b cubed, alright, that's equals 4, then b is equal to what? The cube root of 4. Alright, and so on. Now, instead of writing the cube root of 4, I can rewrite this radical as what? 4 raised to the 1/3. That's the same thing. And remember, square root of 4 is what? 4 to the 1/2. Alright, so to get this, I've got b is what? 12 over 3.2 raised to the 1/50. And so that gives me b is equal to, and that's going to be, let's see, 12 divided by 3.2, and I need to raise that to the 1 divided by 50, and so I get b is this long number. It comes out to 1.026787624. And just for the sake of this video, I'm going to round it to 2 decimal places. Okay, now, depending on what your teacher wants you to do, you might need to take it to more decimal places. I don't know, but the main thing is just knowing how to get b. Alright, so now what that does is that gives me my function. See, I know y naught, that's 3.2, and I've got b as 1.03, so I have f of t is equal to 3.2 times 1.03 raised to the t, and there's my function. Alright, and then what they say is, if this model remains accurate, what will be the estimated population in the year 2060? Well, remember, the year 2000 was t equals 0, so 2060, that's 60 years later. So for part B, t would be 60. So I'll just evaluate this function at 60. So f of 60 is equal to 3.2 times 1.03 raised to the 60th. And that is going to give me, let's see, 1.03 raised to the 60, and then times 3.2. So it comes out to 18.8531293, and I will round this to 1 decimal place, so 18.9, and we know this is million. Okay. Alright, so I hope this helped. Check out my other videos. Give me a like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.